Have you ever noticed something strange? The closer you get to becoming the person you once dreamed of being, the heavier you feel inside. Instead of excitement, there's guilt. Instead of freedom, there's hesitation. You begin questioning whether you're changing too much, leaving people behind, or becoming someone they won't recognize anymore. Visual, person standing at a quiet crossroads. That feeling is confusing because growth is supposed to feel good. So why does your mind treat it like a loss? The answer isn't what most people think, and it begins long before you ever decided to change. At first, the guilt is almost invisible. You hesitate before sharing good news. You downplay your achievements. You apologize for setting boundaries. Even when life improves, a quiet voice asks whether you deserve it. Visual, empty room with sunlight. It feels safer to stay small than to risk making someone uncomfortable. Slowly, this changes how you speak, how you dream, and even how you see yourself. You stop asking, "What do I want?" and start asking, "Will people still accept me if I become that person?" This isn't simply low confidence, it's an identity conflict. Your brain isn't only trying to help you succeed, it's also trying to protect your place within the groups that shaped you. Family, friends, classmates, co-workers, every relationship quietly teaches your nervous system what feels safe. When growing begins to challenge those expectations, your brain can interpret success as social danger instead of personal progress. Visual, slow-moving light patterns. This is why some people sabotage opportunities they secretly wanted for years. They aren't choosing failure because they enjoy suffering. They're choosing familiarity because familiarity once meant belonging. The emotional pain isn't caused by success itself. It's caused by what success appears to threaten. Here's the important part. You're not broken. You're witnessing an adaptation that once protected you. Imagine a tree growing inside a small greenhouse. For years, every branch learned exactly how far it could stretch without hitting the glass. The limits became normal. When the walls disappear, the tree doesn't instantly grow in every direction. It still grows carefully because its history taught it that expanding was dangerous. Visual, tree growing beyond a glass frame. Your mind works in a surprisingly similar way. Old emotional maps continue guiding present decisions, even when the environment has completely changed. The strange part is that your brain often updates facts much faster than feelings. You may logically know you're safe to grow, yet emotionally feel guilty every time you do. Why does your emotional system refuse to trust what your rational mind already understands? That answer begins inside one of the brain's oldest survival systems, and understanding it changes everything. Visual, abstract brain animation. Deep inside the brain, survival has always depended on connection. Long before modern life, being rejected by your group could reduce your chances of survival. Because of this, your nervous system evolved to treat belonging as something almost as important as physical safety. The emotional brain responds much faster than the thinking brain, scanning for signs that growth might lead to distance, criticism, or abandonment. Visual. Abstract brain animation with glowing pathways. Think of your mind like an old smoke alarm. It doesn't only react to real fires, it also reacts to burnt toast. Past experiences become templates, and every new opportunity is compared against them. If success once created tension, your brain may sound the alarm even when no real danger exists. So how do you slowly retrain that system? First, notice the guilt without obeying it. Label it instead of becoming it. This works because naming an emotion activates the brain's prefrontal cortex, reducing the emotional intensity created by automatic fear circuits. Visual, notebook with one sentence written. When you think, "I feel guilty for growing," instead of "I am selfish," you create space between yourself and the emotion. Second, expect discomfort instead of treating it as evidence you're making the wrong decision. The brain learns through prediction. When healthy growth repeatedly ends safely, your nervous system gradually updates its expectations. Visual, person walking alone at night. Every boundary you keep teaches your brain that rejection is not inevitable. Third, protect your identity with small daily evidence. Instead of asking whether you've changed enough, ask whether today's actions match the person you're becoming. Behavioral psychology shows that repeated actions shape identity more reliably than repeated thoughts. A single honest conversation or one respectful boundary becomes proof your new self is real. Finally, allow some relationships to change naturally. Not everyone connected to your old identity can grow with your new one. That loss feels painful because your brain mistakes familiar patterns for permanent safety. Visual, waves moving slowly. But making room for healthier relationships teaches your nervous system that belonging can expand instead of disappear. The simplest way to remember all of this is the greenhouse. Your guilt isn't the wall, it's the memory of the wall. Every small act of authentic growth stretches your emotional map until your inner world finally matches your outer reality. Visual, tree growing freely beneath an open sky. One day, you'll notice something quiet. The same choices that once filled you with guilt will begin to feel ordinary. Not because life became easier, but because your brain finally realized that becoming yourself was never the real danger. Staying trapped inside an outdated version of yourself was. Visual, sunrise over an open field. Sometimes the greatest sign of healing isn't feeling fearless, it's continuing to grow even while the old alarm slowly fades into silence.